The latest fire updates, trends, and topics that matter to you. Don't miss out on the heat. Fire Talk every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. on Zeliza Radio 96.1 FM.
All right, good morning and welcome back once again to the morning show and to our conversation for today, Tuesday, the 13th day of June, Fire Talk. In the studio with me, I have Acting Fire Chief Romel Williams. And here we go. So I was going to write it down, but I didn't.
You got it.
If I can remember the letters of the alphabet backwards, but I can't remember, substation fire officer Timothy Martin.
Fire first.
Fire first.
Fire sub.
Fire first. Okay.
FSSO.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, man. This is going to be the last Tuesday. Right. Mm-hmm. We got that problem. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. And welcome to all our listeners and viewers around the world. Last time we were here, we were talking, we will continue our conversation, which we're going to do again, surrounding your life and your jobs as firefighters here in the St. Kitts. And in our last conversation, on different occasions, the topic or the subject matter of equipment and technology was raised. Mm-hmm. So let's start right there. With the technology aspect, how do you guys stand with the technology aspect? Are you up to date? Let us know what's happening there on that end.
All right. Good morning, GQ. Good morning, listening audience. Okay. In relation to firefighting technology has improved tremendously. We have seen where the advancement in technology has spilled over into firefighting, the firefighting career. Let's touch on, let's say, for example, our fire trucks. All right, our fire trucks, they are more modernized. They are more computer based, and is no longer just the normal stick shift that you engage once ago. It's more computerized. So that's one aspect. You could also look at our BA sets, breathing apparatus, right? No longer they're not as simple as they were back then, with just maybe the high pressure, low pressure hose, a bell, and it sounds off whenever the ear is depleting. Now you have within the face mask, you have like headlights display where it actually you see a bar,
an indicator,
giving you the various levels as to the air in your oxygen tank. Once ago, if a firefighter goes into a structure and let's say for some reason he collapses and no one recognizes that he is down, he would have just stayed there until whether someone says, "Hey, I haven't seen Mr. Martin," or someone happened to pass by and see him. Now, in this day and age, our BA sets are equipped with an alarm device that if the firefighter does not move within a certain time frame, it sends off an alarm, and that is one of the most annoying alarms that you could hear. So for any firefighter hear that noise, definitely, hey, something is wrong with one of my co-workers. I need to go and check on him. So the technology has advanced tremendously in the world of firefighting.
It has. But I just want to make sure that we here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we are on the cutting edge.
So,
for example, what you just mentioned in terms of the new technology, do we have that here in St. Kitts?
Indeed we do.
If I could add, and I don't want to sound like I'm boasting, but I have to boast. St. Kitts being one of the smallest countries, one of the smallest federation in the Caribbean. We have some of the best most modernized equipment when it comes to firefighting in the region. Some of the things we have are what fire stations in the US or in the UK have top-notch equipment. So what we try to do is to, and as part of our mission statement, is to modernize the fire department, both in training and equipment. And we have gone, I mean, a long way. Even during our time at the fire department, what we met and what we have now is a huge upgrade in technology. The same way you have a person going to the hospital and you have all kind of things plugged to him to check vital signs. The same way a truck could tell you that, what's happening to the truck. You plug up a machine, you check all the vital signs on the truck. You check the injectors to see which one not firing properly. You check your computer, which is like literally the brain of the truck. It will tell you exactly what is going on. So no longer you have to do this old school troubleshooting and hope you guess, because you can't guess on these things anymore. You must plug up your vital sign systems to these equipment for them to tell you exactly what's happening. We talk about advancement in BA sets, like what he spoke about. These BA sets and everything are being made smart. That's with the era we are in now. Everything is smart because everything speaks to you. The BA sets, they tell you what's going on, and these they have accessories that could, I mean, the what they can provide is limitless, right? We have accessories that we don't have, but there are accessories that we could get to add to these BA sets that would pin not only visual, audible, but visual location. I could stay from outside and look on my screen and see somebody's down, and I could pinpoint exactly where in the building you're at. Right. We talk about thermal imaging cameras, where I could use a camera to detect body temperatures. When you go into fires, I could use it to detect hot spots to make sure that you have total extinguishments. I mean, and there's advancement in every single piece of equipment that we have at the fire department, which we can't go to all right now. But from what we met, everything has changed since dramatically. We changed from pumps that uses water to displace water.
Wow.
Right? To just electrical pumps that displaces water. So you don't have to be using water to remove water. There are cases where those pumps are
Still,
best fit.
yes.
However, you must have water in order to remove water. And so we have, I mean, it's just, I'm sorry that we can't show you. Because to tell you what we have and the advancement we've seen in the technology and the equipment that we have, it's just, I'm just excited to see what they're gonna come with next.
Right. And you use these technologies in your day-to-day work. That's what I'm gathering from you. So it's not just jump on a truck and then grab a hose and out the fire.
As a matter of fact, back in 2000, when we bought our first, that was the first brand new truck that we bought while we were there. That truck was the first truck like that in the region. We were the first to buy a truck like that from Rosenbauer in the region.
Wow.
We were the first, and since that we just keep getting better and better and better.
Wow.
Yeah.
You touch base on an aspect of how to use, or when it's appropriate to use some of the technology as it relates to the BA set in terms of emergency and locating your men. How does the team work together in an emergency situation?
In relation to the
fire in general.
Okay, well,
let me just put not just fire, because it's more than fire. It's fire and a rescue, right? So, in an emergency, how do you guys work together?
Well, like we would have mentioned last week,
numbers.
as once we get to work, we have our duties and we know what number is assigned to us. The number you have will dictate your role and responsibilities on any emergency. We have numbers from 1 to 5, but the crew is normally 6. But the supervisor doesn't have a number because he's the supervisor. He's more or less the person who oversees, that's the safety officer.
As well.
So you have 1 to 5. Number 1 is the lead man. That's the man on a fire scene. He's the man with the branch extinguishing the fire. On maybe on an accident scene, he's the man with the jaws of life, doing the cutting of the vehicle and what's not. So all of these numbers, you have number 2, that's the truck driver, pump operator. Number 3, so everybody have the role. Number 4 we call the workhorse because he has to make sure everything, all the lines laid out straight, everything is in order. And of course, based on the incident, the roles may change because while number 5 might be the person responsible for locating a hydrant on a fire scene, if you go to an accident, there is no need for hydrant, right? So his role will change. And again, number 1, when it comes to the basics, number 1, once you hear number 1, you know you have to put on a basic. Number 3 has to put on a basic because number 3 backs up number 1. Those are the 2 who goes into, those are the front line. They go into the fire or the area that is most toxic or hazardous. And of course, there are scenarios where all 5 would need to put on basic because the entire area is just smoke filled, so everybody has to protect themselves. So the number is used to create or reduce chaos, and to create an atmosphere of what should I say, teamwork, and make sure that the functions or the roles or everybody is carried out. The word keep running away from me. Everything is done in order. Right, so there's not this one person or 2 persons doing the same thing, and then one of the more critical aspect is not done because this person, so it creates a sense of you would got again, but you understand. So that there is no chaos. The whole thing is to prevent chaos and to be more efficient.
You want to add something, Timothy? Sorry.
It was well said on Mr. Williams' part, so nothing seriously there to add to what he said.
So let me ask this now.
Yes.
We have had conversations before where you highlighted in detail some of the other responders you might end up working with. But you never touch base on an actual scenario. So, for example, you might go to like Christophe Harbor. Was it just you on the scene, or was it you and people from electricity department? And if it's so, how did you guys work with each other? In case by case scenarios, I know it's going to be different, but how do you work with other responders?
Okay, and a scenario like that, we would call it a multi-agency response, where you have different agencies responding to one scene. Now, to prevent chaos again, there must be a system that is put in place to keep everything well organized.
Right, but you're from one agency and...
Yeah, so we call that a incident command system, right, that manages the scene to prevent and reduce chaos, because everybody will just come in and everybody doing their own thing. Now, if you have let's say you have a situation where there's a fire, but it's a crime scene, you understand, police has to get involved. Okay, so you have 2 agencies in play now. We have 2 agencies on scene. Who takes the lead?
Exactly.
It's a crime scene.
Right.
And for instance, let's say it's a crime scene where the perpetrator might still be on the scene. Police has to take the lead. Fire department will step back. Police takes the lead. If police need assistance and we render assistance to police, police is still taking the lead because it's a crime scene. When police has declared that the scene is safe and it is no longer a threat to the fire officers, then the fire officers take over because it is now a fire scene. And if we need assistance from the police, it is still a fire scene, so fire is still taking charge of that scene. Right, but in an event where there you have police, you have fire, you have EMS, you have whatever. In those type of scenarios, you have NEMO with the head of emergencies. So you have a EOC, Emergency Operations Center, where everything is coordinated from. Though you have an ICS, you have an incident command still on scene to organize what is happening on scene, right? So that you don't have everybody just doing what they feel like, and then you actually end up with more casualties than you started with. Yeah.
But this is something that everyone in your field of work is cognizant of, if I can put it that way?
Well, it's something that everyone should be cognizant of, because especially for fire and police and military, we do a lot of training in ICS.
And mass casualty.
Method of it. Well, in ICS, incident command systems, so that we understand how that comes into play when we have these multi-agency responses. So, and even with EMS as well, they would have been trained in ICS to some extent, so that we understand that you'd hear, because you hear accident, you don't just run in, because fire is on the scene as well. Fire has to cut the person out first, and then you come in and do what you have to do now, because we already created a safe working space for you. So you just don't come and rush in because you hear accident.
Right.
They must be controlled. Right.
So, which leads me to something that you pointed out last week in our conversation. Are you guys prepared to do any level of sustaining people in accidents on if you were to be the first one on scene? For example, you got to an accident and you realize this person either needs CPR or some sort of medical assistance to keep them sustained for the time being.
We have a number of persons who are trained in the medical field of things, CPR, etc. Now, we have officers who have not gone through that training as yet. So we are still seeking for the holistic approach when it comes to the organization for firefighters for each and every one to be trained in that regards. However, let's bring it back to the scenario of an accident where you have EMS and fire responding. Now, EMS is responsible for the patient. Fire and rescue is responsible for extricating the patient out of the vehicle. So where you would find that an EMT can go in and let's say, as we say, secure the head, make spinal alignments and so forth, but the person is still trapped. So they can render a certain amount of care to that person still, while we try to, while we try to extricate the person from the vehicle.
Right.
Now, persons, we have to understand that is two basic roles taking place at that point in time. So as long as they get that person stabilized, then we would then in turn extricate the person out of the vehicle, handing them over to the EMS now, and then they would take care of the patient. So going back to your question again, yes, we have fire officers who are trained in CPR. So if they go on scene and they recognize that this person they need assistance, then we are trained in knowing what to do in that regard.
Because I'm not wishing it, but it would look bad to see that fire is the first on the scene. And you're just standing by doing nothing, waiting, and while someone is there, need your help.
Right, so it's because of that is why we understand it is critically important for us to be trained in the medical field. It's not a if or might. It has to happen, because in 99% of the times we are on scene first. Whether it be an accident or a house fire, we are on scene first, and we must be able, as first responders, we must be able to at least render first aid, some sort of life-sustaining support to that person. It goes without, I mean, it would be absurd to not know what to do. So what we are trying to do is to get every single officer trained in emergency response.
The last set of training that we had in that regard, it was held over in Nevis, and that was by a lady from the United States. She was a former nurse, a former EMT, a paramedic, sorry, and her sessions were just amazing. We had some fire officers who were able to take part in that. We had a multi-agency approach to that workshop as well. It was police, fire, you had nurses, so you had persons from the various sectors engaging in that workshop. The lady's name was Anne Gergel. She was very wonderful.
Gentlemen, unfortunately, though, I'll have to wrap up our conversation here.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you guys for taking the time and sharing with us. And for me, we are showing the public that, you know, you guys are equipped and ready for emergencies here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah.
Coming up next, we have our Prime Minister's, it's called the Round Table. He'll be live at 10 o'clock. He's going to be here on the radio. Well, sorry, not here in studio, but we'll be bringing it to you live on the radio and all of our social media platforms. So I do encourage you to stay tuned for that conversation with the Round Table coming up at 10. Gentlemen, your last words as we wrap up this morning. Timothy, I'm going to start with you, and we're going to leave the last words with our acting fire chief this morning.
Just a continuous word of encouragement to our residents that, you know, to be fire safety conscious, and also we are seeing that, you know, we have had some accidents, and so we are didn't turn out the best. So remember to drive safely on the road. Remember that the road is not, you know, just for you alone. You have other road users as well. So stay focused on others using the road.
Yes, I will flip over to the water side. I want to encourage us. We are going through a serious drought presently. We have areas that persons still can't get water, so I'm encouraging persons to be prudent with your water usage. Water is I can't even describe how precious water is. It's even more precious than gold. So I want us to be very, very, very conscious, prudent, use wisdom when using water. Don't waste it, please. Thank you.
Do you know that the Cable has a real live customer service representative available every day until 9 p.m.? Just call 465-2588. Calling out of normal office hours? Leave a voicemail and a friendly, reliable Cable rep will call you back. Do you have an urgent request? Or maybe you just want to ask a service question? Call 465-2588 and a service representative will be available to assist you. Or, if you prefer, send an email to customerservice@thecable.biz and someone will get back to you. So remember, the Cable is here for you every day until 9 p.m. Just call 465-2588 or send an email. The Cable, always giving you more where it matters.
The specials at Domino's are hot, hot, hot for any occasion. Hot right out of the oven. 1 medium, 2 topping pizza, and 2 20-ounce Cokes, only $35. Free Coke with your lunch until 2 p.m. Small, 1 topping school child lunch special, only $14. 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $69. 2 large, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $92. Oh, and the big one, baby. Free lunch pizza every Tuesday with your favorite 2 for Tuesday special. So, come on down or call and order now and experience our tasty oven-baked goodness. Domino's, the home of satisfaction.
Wow, call Domino's now.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Music's finest artists converge in Bastia from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillibeng, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romaine Virgo, TJ, Valiant.
Them boy don't got no vibes.
Grandmasters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Akayu Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkitsmusicfestival.com.